gotta be kidding me. You're sounding like retarded idiots when you call this time frame, this era in time, the most immoral and worst times, and therefore Jesus is going to come back. See, what happened is you've fallen for the trick. You have fallen for the bullshit. Yes, you have. No, you've fallen for it. Don't take it back now. You've fallen for that bullshit. Times are getting bad, so Jesus is going to come back soon. Jesus going to come back real soon, because times ain't never been like this. You're full of shit, and you know nothing about history. That's right. You know nothing about history. Nothing. If you can even think that these are the worst times in human history, if you can even think that we are going through the most immoral, sinful, closest to the devil, to Satan, times in human history, you are fucking retarded. There's no reason to debate you. This is not a debate. This is just me talking shit. Because I got nothing else to do at the moment. It's not the worst time in human history. Okay? There's been way worse shit happening before this time. Far worse. Only thing is, a lot of you simple people are now looking under the rock. Anyone with a brain been knew that a lot of shit was going on under the rock. When you pick a rock up, you find all kind of bugs and worms and all kinds of insects you've never seen before, just going crazy, going at it, eating each other, and doing all kind of shit. You just didn't know that shit was going on under the rock because you was fooled into this everything is beautiful these days type shit or something. I don't know. I don't. You can't even name a time in human history that was better than now. You can't name a time in human history that there weren't an extreme amount of pedophiles, of rapists, of molesters, of murderers, of cheats, of all the things we see today. You can't name a time in history where there was less of them than there are now. You can't name a time in history when there was more of them. It's the human condition. And what some people do with the human condition is fool your dumb ass. There has been way worse shit happening in human history. Way worse. It just wasn't reported. It wasn't on CNN. So you ain't know about it. And you're not history buff. You're not going to research history. So you don't know about this shit. You don't know about it because you choose not to know about it. Whose fault is that? Yours. But don't talk to the rest of us who are educated in these things, which are the end of the world is near because of human nature and Jesus is coming back. Because we know that you're a fucking fool. So, we know that shit ain't no worse than it was at the beginning of civilization. And we know it really can't get no worse. Human nature is a constant struggle between the good parts of human nature and the bad parts of human nature. It's a constant struggle. It's an eternal struggle. Unless we find a way to blow up all the nuclear bombs at once and kill ourselves off at once, it's an eternal struggle. Nobody coming back for you. Ain't no Jesus coming back. Ain't no man that was hung, stabbed, hung up on a cross, however the fuck they killed him, coming back to take you to some magical place. That's your bullshit ideology. But it's not happening. It's not happening. Times are not worse. You can't prove it. You can only have your opinion, but you cannot show no data that shows it's worse. You cannot show any data that shows now is worse than 50 years ago, worse than 100 years ago, worse than 150, 200, 250, 1,000, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 4,000 years. You can't show it. You can't show it. There's no way to prove it. Every time you bring up old history, you try to say everybody was all civilized, and then you bring up stories like Sodom and Gomorrah, where God had to blow up whole goddamn cities, dumbasses. And then if you go back even further than that, I think Noah? Is Noah before that or after that? Another time when society was so fucked up, God had to drown everybody. Y'all really fall for some stupid shit and don't realize it, because you've been falling for it since you were 3-4 years old. You've been programmed to believe it since you were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. For the most part. Not everybody, but most of us were indoctrinated to believe the dumb shit since we were babies. That is the hardest shit to escape. The shit that's been forced on you when your brain wasn't even formed yet. They forced this stupid shit on us. So we stick to it. We don't know nothing else. We stick to it. And I don't know is too hard of a concept to deal with. I don't know what happened. I don't know why we came, where we came from. I don't know if anything created us or if we just came from just the fact that energy exists. I don't know. You know, because you need to know, because you're insecure. And when somebody like me comes along and tells you you don't really know shit, of course you're gonna, raise up with a bunch of semantics and poetical sounding bullshit that really don't make no sense. Of course you're gonna come out with some shit that don't make no sense. What else can you do? But like I was saying, I digress, and this is gonna get long. There's been no worse time or better time on the planet Earth. Long as humans have been here, this is how we are. Now, if we could change our concepts and our ideologies to start to wipe out some of the bad things, we can do it. But our current ideologies are built in to make sure these things keep happening. They're built in. I'll explain that some other time. Everything we think now as a group is built in to make sure we still have a lot of fucked up people in our midst. That's it. I'm going to go outside. It's nice outside. I talk to you dudes and dudettes.